TUDUM or not TUDUM?
Netflix, the popular streaming service, announced on Wednesday that its biggest virtual event will take place on September 25th of 2021. The work is titled TUDUM. Fans are very excited amidst this announcement and are eagerly awaiting the event. In today's video, we're going to be diving into everything you need to know about this mega Netflix event and who will be featuring, along with what films and series you can expect to see drop this September on Netflix. Netflix Announces TUDUM, global fan event. Netflix recently released a trailer advertising the mega Netflix special event. TUDUM or not TUDUM? Ask sex education star Nkuti Gatwa in a comedic trailer advertising the event, which explains that TUDUM is the way to spell out the sound you hear when you press the play button on Netflix. TUDUM is now also the name of the streamer's first global fan event. Netflix announced today that the first TUDUM celebration will take place on September 25th, with over 70 of the streamer's properties represented during the 3-hour virtual event, in which talent from fan-favorite Netflix series, films, and specials will reveal exclusive news and unveil first-look trailers and clips. The fan event will also include interactive panels and conversations with the creators and stars of some of Netflix's most popular returning shows, including Stranger Things, Bridgerton, The Witcher, The Crown, Emily in Paris, La Casa de Papel, and Cobra Kai. There are also some highly anticipated new releases on the list, such as Cowboy Bebop. TUDUM will salute Netflix's recent blockbusters, including Hemsworth's Extraction and Charlie Theron's The Old Guard, while teasing some details about highly anticipated films such as The Harder They Fall, starring Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, and Don't Look Up, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and Red Notice, starring Dwayne Johnson. The announcement also promises to highlight titles from India, Korea, and anime. On September 25th, the TUDUM livestream will begin at 9:30 p.m. IST, with pre-shows beginning at 5:30 p.m. IST. The virtual livestream will take place on Netflix's YouTube and Twitter channels, as well as Twitch. There will also be special pre-shows on specific channels highlighting Korea and Indian series and films. Netflix's decision to host its own convention continues a trend of entertainment companies avoiding shared industry events like Comic-Con in favor of creating their own fan festivals. Last year, Warner Media held its first DC fandom event where it teased news about a variety of upcoming superhero films and shows, whereas Disney announced a slew of Star Wars projects and other major titles during its Investor Day event in December. The D23 Expo is a biannual event for official fan club members that also serves as a day of trailer debuts and high-profile programming announcements. Despite pandemic-related production issues, Netflix's output has been significant over the last year and a half. Recently, the streaming service has debuted a number of high-profile titles, including Sweet Tooth, Shadow and Bone, Ratcheted, and films like Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead and America, the Motion Picture. Some of Netflix drops this September. Netflix has been doing better than ever, especially since the pandemic took over the world and kept many inside with nothing else to do but binge Netflix shows and movies. We want to share with you some of the best movies and TV shows that are set to drop this September. Blade Runner 1982. This is the best of the many versions of Ridley Scott's Blade Runner floating around the internet. The final cut is a refined distillation of the science fiction thriller that increasingly looks like a masterpiece with each new iteration. It is only a slight reworking of the director's cut, complete with new footage being shot to fix a particularly troublesome wig during one stunt. Blade Runner, dense, evocative, and strangely beautiful in its fatalism, is the quintessential blending of sci-fi and noir, as well as a haunting work about what it means to be human. Afterlife of the Party. In this supernatural comedy, a social butterfly played by Victoria Justice dies during her birthday week and is given a second chance to right her wrongs on Earth in order to successfully move on to the big VIP room up above. Afterlife of the Party also stars Midori Francis, Robin Scott, Adam Garcia, My Fan Wai Waring, and Spencer Sutherland, so make sure to check out their amazing work by watching this Netflix original when it arrives early this month. Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain is a Civil War epic that eschews the usual trappings of dramas set during that era, and it's difficult to imagine people making it today. The main characters in the film are North Carolinians who are drawn into the Confederation because of secession, and thus slavery. Though Jude Law's Inman is not a slaveholder, in fact he has no real reason to be fighting in the war, which is why after witnessing years of carnage he goes AWOL, embarking on a Homeric quest to return to his Cold Mountain home and the sweetheart who awaits him there. This film is a great watch and something that was made to win awards. We highly recommend checking this out. Congratulations Netflix subscribers. The greatest film of all time is now available for streaming. In this fantasy adventure film from Jin Henson and his creative workshop, David Bowie and his conspicuous codepiece star, Sarah, played by Jennifer Connelly, is a teen who must solve a labyrinth to save her baby brother after she wishes him away. This is an absolute delight from start to finish, packed with the coolest critters, the bangiest funniest tunes, and the most perplexing feelings about David Bowie's Goblin King, Worth. In this Netflix original biographical drama film, an attorney played by Michael Keaton in Washington, D.C. battles cynicism, bureaucracy, and politics to help 9/11 victims. This powerful film, which also stars Stanley Tucci, Amy Ryan, and Laura Benatti, Tate Donovan, and others, is a must-see as we prepare to commemorate the lives lost in the 9/11 attacks 20 years ago. School of Rock. Thank the film gods for a filmmaker like Richard Linklater. Known as an indie darling for time-bending cinematic experiences like the Before Sunrise trilogy and Boyhood, the dazed and confused director can also do genuinely great mainstream entertainment when he wants to. As a result, he's collaborated with the often overlooked talent of Jack Black. They collaborated on an all-time family classic, School of Rock. Once Upon a Time in America. The story behind Sergio Leone's final film, The Last Laugh, is as fascinating as the film itself. After establishing himself as the king of spaghetti westerns and then transcending the genre with films such as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Once Upon a Time in the West, Leone returned his attention to gangsters in 20th century America. However, his nearly 4-hour epic was severely shortened to 139 minutes and rendered almost incomprehensible in America, where it bombed spectacularly. Meanwhile, until it was restored in 2012, the original version was largely unknown. Leone's methodical and occasionally dreamlike aesthetic may still be difficult for some audiences to accept, but we hope Netflix is showing the full-length version. After all, this is the company that backed The Irishman, which probably wouldn't exist without Leone's influence. It's a sprawling, engrossing epic that spans 50 years, encompassing prohibition, Italian and Jewish criminal gangs, politics, and more in a sprawling portrait of a corrupt American dream. It is rightly regarded as one of the greatest gangster films of all time. This is definitely a must-watch this month. Sex Education Season 3. The long-awaited third season of this popular Netflix original comedy drama series has arrived. Otis, played by Asa Butterfield, Eric, played by Nkuti Gadwa, John, played by Gillian Anderson, Adam, played by Connor Swindles, Amy, played by Amy Lou Wood, and Jackson, played by Kadar Williams Sterling, will all return to Moordale High in September, along with new faces like Jemima Kirk, Jason Isaacs, and Idra Ovey. Do yourself a favor and watch the entire third season of Sex Education as soon as it becomes available on Netflix this month. That is if you're caught up, and if you haven't, go ahead and start the binging now. Green Lantern. Next up, we have Marvel's Green Lantern. Remember when this movie was said to be the starting point for the DC Cinematic Universe? Or whatever it was called in the end? Following the amazing realism of Christopher Nolan's first two Batman films, the loopy cosmic vibe of this would-be epic was simply not what audiences expected. Even with all of the visual pyrotechnics, an earnest effort from a somewhat miscast Ryan Reynolds in the title role, and a fantastic performance by Mark Strong as an anti-hero Sinestro, the film came across as uninspired and unfocused. Regardless, many viewers enjoyed this film, and if you haven't seen it yet, we highly recommend you do so. And there you have it, everything you need to know surrounding the new upcoming Netflix event titled TUDUM, and all the details we know so far, and some of the best new movies and series to grace our screens this September. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. Will you be tuning in to Netflix's first mega event? Do you agree with the name TUDUM? Kind of cheesy if you ask me. Also, make sure to let us know what you thought about the new movies and show gracing our screens this September. Which one on our list are you most excited about? If you ask me, it would have to be Labyrinth. Well, you knew that already. This is such an iconic film that has finally made its way to Netflix. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.